NFL, back off and leave Friday night alone. Leave it to the Texas high school football players. Leave it to everybody in America to go enjoy a Friday night game when your favorite Dallas Cowboys aren't playing. And yeah, they're gonna grab some of your audience. It's just the Dallas Cowboys. My gosh. Step into the Fieldhouse, your front row seat to legendary victories and untold stories. Hey, I'm your host, Lance Lunner, breaking down sports from the inside out, along with co-host Jimmy Lackey. It's more than just a game. It's the Fieldhouse Podcast. Hello. Welcome into the Fieldhouse Podcast. I'm your host and co-host, I should say, Lance Lunner. And we've got Jimmy Lackey, the man here at Kids Inc., CEO and Prez, probably, and you've chalked lines, you've done it all. I think you're proud that you've, as Jerry Jones once said, I'm in charge, or I will handle the jocks, the socks, and the contracts.
We've got great people here, Lance. You know that.
I know that.
But at the end of the day, and I sound bad, I don't feel bad. When that toilet in the restroom, in the women's restroom gets clogged up,
yeah,
I'm the one that called.
I like that, yeah.
You
should be proud that you have the ability to do those kind of things.
People always ask me, what's your title here? And I always say, Chief Toilet Cleaner.
I love that.
Chief Toilet Cleaner.
Hey, we want to welcome you into 2025. We can't thank you enough. It's been a blast doing this podcast. We both enjoy it. We've had some great guests and all that, and we want to encourage you as you're listening in. If you have a guest you'd like to we'll try to get him on or get them on or her or whoever you would like. This is number 34. We've started a tradition. I don't know what's going to happen when we hit 100, but if we get that far. But we have a tradition here, and this is podcast 34, and we discuss who our all-time favorite person who wore that number. And it can be a teammate in high school, a college player, a great professional. Jimmy, 34s, there's really only one kind of that stands out. But
I bet we're thinking of the same one.
We might be.
There's some good ones.
There are some good ones.
There's some good ones.
It's a better number than you would think.
I'll give you some of the good ones that I liked. Olajuwon.
Yeah.
Shaq. Barkley.
Wow. I knew Barkley.
But Sweetness, hands down, best 34 ever.
Yeah. Walter Payton.
Hands down.
Yeah. Walter Payton, Chicago Bears, great life. And this is just how great he is. When you hear the Man of the Year award in the NFL, it is named the Walter Payton Award. To have that, have your name tagged with that award, just says it all.
Well, and get that little crest on your jersey. Man,
yeah, it kind of looks like Darth Vader.
It does.
I don't like the crest. I'm sorry.
It looks like he's at a snowing game with one of those big long hoods on.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Dak has it, obviously, and he's proud of it. But it's great. And Walter Payton from Jackson State, I don't know if we'll ever have players excel like that at that level and then come into the NFL. But it was a great story. And, the only sad thing is the Bears win the Super Bowl, and Walter Payton does not get to score a touchdown in that game when they had opportunities to give it to him.
Yeah.
Instead, they give it to
the
fridge. Yeah. So I think I did see a couple of interviews on that, and I think that did bother him a little bit. He's not a diva. He's not going to make a big deal out of that. But his running style his legs were so powerful and just a fun guy to watch run.
That team was so unique anyway because they were your classic, and a lot of people don't understand this, particularly when you get into college and professional sports, how the offenses and defenses really don't associate with one another very much. I mean, they have their own meetings with their own coaches. And, they're in
probably that way today.
Yeah, and they're in separate rooms, and so not that they don't get along outside. It's just that they don't spend a lot of time together. But that group, there was a lot of animosity between Buddy Ryan and Mike Ditka back then. And so
a lot of jealousy, and
then that trickled down into the player piece of it.
Well, that defense, the 46 defense was so famous and all that. You had Jim McMahon, a character at quarterback, Walter Payton, the perfect professional, you just had all those elements.
Yeah.
Jim Lex and I drove. He was a big Bears fan.
Yeah.
I'll never forget it. We drove down for that when they played Dallas at Old Texas Stadium, and it was like 34, 42 nothing, something like that. Cowboys looked horrible.
Wow.
Okay, and but that's how good the Bears were at that time.
That defense was staunch.
Yeah.
They for sure won them some ball games.
Totally.
Down, won them
Vicious
some ball
hitting, and that time there was no holding back on quarterbacks or anything in the NFL, so they try to take you out. All right, it's 2025. Jimmy, are you a New Year's resolution guy?
No.
Were you ever?
No, but since I've been a working person, I do use a little bit of that downtime during the holidays to kind of get my bullet points, things I need to get done. And it's really good time for me because that's all I've done for 3 days since we've been back is just checking off boxes. January is a big month for me because we've got a lot of tax work that has to be done, and quarterly reports to the IRS and TWC has to be done during this month. And so the sooner I can get those done, sooner I can get the W-2s out to the employees and the 1099s out to the officials, the better off my January is going to go. So I'm just checking boxes as fast as I can and making sure. And, I've just accumulated a list through the years of these are things when you get back in January, we got to get done and get them done quick because I'm not a resolution guy, though.
Yeah. I used to be. I'm not anymore as much. I do like to refocus, like you kind of said, and maybe put 3 things down that you want to get done in 2025. You know what I mean? Whether it's work out more or just something.
Somebody's going to have to put a tow rope on me and just drag me along when they work out because I cannot get over the hump to get motivated, and Lord knows I need to.
Well, here's the deal. Try this. I'm being serious. Don't try this 6-7 day a week workout. Commit to 3 days a week and be proud of that.
Yeah.
And if you talk to anybody out there, and so when you walk into the gym, you literally have a line that you walk over and say, okay, it's time. I'm not here to chit chat. I'm not here to pout or just go do it. And then once you walk over that line, your mindset changes. But don't penalize yourself. Like, oh man, I'm only working out. No, be proud of the 3 days.
But Lance, I don't have any excuses. Think about this. I got a full fitness center in Hereford. I mean, it's got a gymnasium. It's got racquetball courts. It's got TRX rooms. It's got spin rooms. It's got weight rooms. I got that. I got a sportsplex down the street. I could go walk around the turf down there all day long.
Yeah. I got you.
But I will tell you what we did. And I bought a shop this past year, and 2 of my son-in-laws are in on it with me, and my wife and 2 of the daughters have been wanting one of those Peloton treadmills.
Yeah.
So we just all went in and we ordered it.
Oh, the treadmill, not the bike.
We already have the bike.
Oh, wow.
My wife had the bike, and so we're going to move both of those up to the shop, and it's for everybody to use, and everybody has the code to the shop, and
very cool.
And they can, we can sync times to where everybody can go up there. So maybe if I like it, I might get on that.
I'm going to try to get in 10,000 steps a day.
Yeah.
I really am. I know that's, you just got to do it and try it.
Sure,
because
you
if
do.
you read anything, that's a good start just to get. I know it's simple and getting healthy. Tore both my ACLs. Running is just out. You know what I mean?
No,
you talk to
same here.
anybody. But I think I'm going to have to get on a bicycle, a stationary bike, and try some of that. So, But anyway, we encourage you maybe to set a couple of goals and just don't make it so hard. I used to make like 10 or 12 things, and it's the cliche, but by January 10th, you've already not doing 10 of them. So it's kind of sad.
I gave up Cokes 4 years ago, so
Wow.
I don't drink Cokes anymore.
That's nice.
But
I did have a unique one year. I did not eat French fries for an entire year. Okay,
well,
and
I've
the
already
reason
blown,
it came
I've already
about,
blown that.
the reason it came about, we had a guy from McDonald's in on our show, and basically it was kind of a weird bet. But I said, if I don't eat fries, he says, if you don't eat fries for a week, I will give you 365 free fries at McDonald's, like one a day for the year after.
Yeah.
Which kind of defeats the purpose, you know what I mean, of the whole thing. But I made it. I promise you, I made it.
That's funny.
So when you go through the drive-thru, you order apples instead of fries or whatever the other alternate is. You learn that, hey, they don't mind. They're going to help you out and give you an alternate. But I did it for an entire year. And now I've kind of cured myself. Every once in a while I'll have fries, but not like, I mean, I love them. I used to love them. And now, every once in a while. But the hardest thing was like a meal, like a burger, just a good old burger at a restaurant,
Bread's a killer for me. And I didn't think, I used to not think I ate that much bread, but I do.
Yeah.
I really
Mountain
do.
Dews have me. I've got to get off the Dews. So, yeah. Hey, let's start it off where we are with Rock Rose, if you don't mind, in 2025. That's kind of the topic that, it could be a historic part of
let's
this
just
project.
say it's going to be this year. It's going to happen. And so I had a news station call yesterday wanting to know if I'd do an interview. I said, let me do an interview when I don't sound like a broken record, because I'm tired of sounding like a broken record. But I ran into our architect during the break and called our general contractor yesterday and said, I need to sit down with y'all. We need to get a timeline together. I know y'all are still putting some things together, but here's the deal. For instance, I've got a grant. I've got a $500,000 grant that expires in July, at the end of July. We've got to get moving, and we got to get some dirt moving out there so I don't lose what we've worked so hard to get to. And it's going to happen. And this is where I sound like a broken record. All of the engineering that's going on behind the scenes, a lot of it that doesn't have anything to do with us.
Yes.
It's the rest of the strip centers and all the stuff that's going to go in out there. All of that planning is going on, and that doesn't include us. We're not the only game in town out there. In fact, we're 6% of the overall project. When you think about
6%?
Yeah, so put that into perspective.
Wow.
I'd like to think 6% counts for a lot. And it
does.
And
that shocks me because of the amount of land out there that's
being
used.
It's a stimulus for all the surrounding land that Rock Rose has available to put new business in out there. And so as much as I'd like to be priority number one, we are, but it takes time to get all the other parts too. And so, but it's going to happen. It's going to happen soon. I was talking to John Kritzer a couple of days ago at Yellow House, and man, he so badly wants us to have a press conference. He wants to get those big cats and be moving dirt in the background.
You're going to have the shiny shovels, the whole thing.
We're
the hard hat.
We're going to do something.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know what all that looks like, but I can tell you, I already know what grand opening looks like. It's in my head.
Yeah.
It's going to be outstanding.
Yeah.
So I'll give you a hint. I hope all the people don't freak out when they see a bunch of drones in the air on that day.
Okay. All right.
Because we're going to film it from all angles.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
Are you gonna fly in on a helicopter and drop in?
No, I'm not doing anything fancy. The kids,
come on, man.
The kids,
I'm wanting this.
I've got plans for
you got connections.
The kids are going to look really cool when this is all said and done.
That is cool. That will be. It'll be a great day.
I've got plans
Jimmy, real
for the
quick.
Kids.
I know people have looked at it and all that, but and it's tough to summarize. I get it, but what will be out there when it's done, if you don't mind, on this first phase?
Probably about 40 to 50 acres of turfed playing space.
40 to 50 acres. Think about that.
Yeah. And so pretty much, anything that you can play on grass, you're going to be able to do out there. And these are marked lines that we'll have out there. I think there's 31 soccer fields, different sizes. There'll be 8 baseball and softball fields. I don't know how many t-ball fields we could make out there, because t-ball fields we play on the football fields now. And then you're going to have flag football fields. There's 8 marked flag football fields. And then chalk paint, anything else that you want. If you wanted to have a 3v3 soccer tournament, my gosh, Lance, we could probably have 50-plus fields, of maybe more than that, of just the 3v3 fields.
That's awesome.
We'll have a big awning area out there. We're going to build about a 50 by 80 shaded, just cover space for people just to get out of the sun and go sit down and have picnic tables. Probably put some fans underneath and some TVs on there, and just a place to get away. There'll be a large area for food trucks to set up shop, restrooms. I would like to say plenty of parking, but you never have enough parking. But right now the plan calls for 1,600 parking spaces.
Think about that.
I don't know another place that has 1,600 parking spaces.
No. Yeah, it's
but
massive.
I'm also smart enough to know there's going to be days, if we were playing on every field at the complex, that may not be enough.
Yeah, yeah.
And so,
no, it happens. But 1,600 is a great commitment. It's going to be it's really going to be epic when it just gets rolling. Day to day. That's what's going to be so fun for all the kids of this area and all that.
If we don't
chances to have tournaments here.
Oh yeah. If we're not by this time next year, if there's not evidence of a sports complex in your site, they probably need to get rid of me. There, it's on the record.
Okay.
We've got to get going.
Oh man,
we've got to get going, and they're not waiting on us.
Don't send your
We're waiting on them. So,
no, I got you.
And respectfully, we're waiting on them because there's so much that has to be done in the background.
I like that a lot.
And so I just have to bide my time.
It's gonna be fun when it all gets going. I know everybody's got to be patient and all that. So, but I just want to say publicly to Jimmy that I admire you for taking this task on. I know it's a group effort. It's not just you. That would be unfair. I know how you roll, and that's not your style. But it's a massive project, and most people would run from it, quite honestly. To foot the bill without major outside help, like the city of Amarillo, for example, is a great task to accomplish, and you should be proud, man. Well, there's people out there that are excited for this. Yeah, they want to see some dirt moved, obviously, but they are excited for this, for their kids.
I had a roundup coordinator when I first came to Kids Inc., Chris Pope. And Chris and I have remained friends through the years. And it was probably maybe less than a year ago, I ran into Chris at the parking lot at Home Depot.
Yeah.
I said, "What are you doing?" He goes, "You're crazy." And I just looked at him, I go, "About what?" And he goes, "You're just crazy." And I said, "Okay, are you talking about this project?" And he goes, "Yeah, you're crazy." I said, "You don't think I'm going to get it done?" He goes, "Oh, no, I know you'll get it done, but you're crazy."
Yeah.
And, okay, I'll take it.
It's a good crazy, though.
Yeah. If that's something that motivates me outside my normal comfort zone each day, I'll take it.
It's quality of life, Jimmy. You're bringing quality of life to the city of Amarillo and beyond. I think that's very, very important. Yeah. I really
totally
do.
Agree. I think this will be the first of several projects in our community just like it.
Yeah.
I think once I really truly believe this, and I probably won't be on this earth when this happens, but maybe somebody will come back and hear me say this. We're going to get this done. We're going to start working on phase 2 in the indoor building. But I think once we get this done and we see the traffic flow that comes through here and the residual and income and revenues that come to the city, I think the city's going to say, we need more of this.
Yeah.
And this one is not getting it all done. Where can we go next?
Yeah.
That's what I think will happen.
I love that. I love that. So appreciate the update on that. Yeah. 2025 is going to be historic for Rock Rose. So just hang in there. And I know with that $500,000 on the table, that will expedite things. Yeah. I just knowing you, so
that's great leverage.
Yeah. Hey, college playoffs, we're rolling along. The semifinals, national semifinals will be this weekend. Are you pleased? The question of the day is: are you pleased with the playoff format that college football came up with?
I am, and those first rounds of games weren't spectacular to watch.
Yeah, they weren't far from spectacular.
But that's the difference between being a 5 seed and a 12 seed. There's a difference.
Yeah.
But I'm thrilled that some of those smaller conferences had an opportunity to get a representative in the playoffs. I think that's only right. And I go back to what we've talked about for several weeks. Until they fix this and get those 4 power conferences put together, and then take X number from each one to the playoffs and maybe a wild card from each one.
Yeah.
This is what you're going to get.
Yeah.
But I liked it.
Yeah.
I think there's been some surprises.
Oh yeah, totally.
I mean, none of your top 4 seeds are there anymore.
Yeah.
And so I've got my predictions of who I think is going to round it out.
I mean, this is timely, but go ahead, say it.
Yeah, by the time this airs,
this will be
that'll be old news.
Yeah.
But I got Notre Dame and Ohio State in the final. I'd love Texas to get there, but man,
Ohio State's great, but
Ohio State.
I think the
good.
disrespect for Texas has them so jacked up.
I hope you're right.
And they have the athletes to play with Ohio State. Ohio State's amazing, and days under this, it's crazy to be an Ohio State fan because they would rather have you literally beat Michigan than win a national title sometimes, and he doesn't have that on his resume, so they're all over him. But it's just like the Notre Dame coach, though. I mean, they lose to Northern Illinois. They want him fired then. Look where he's at now. Yeah. So I think we have to be a little more patient. I am shocked. Yes, there is an SEC representative in the Final Four, but only one, and that is Texas.
First year.
Yeah, first year in there. So yes, they're SEC, but they're not. You know what I mean? By that I mean they're not the Alabamas, the Georgias and things like that. I will say this, though. The SEC, because of this 12, Jimmy, no longer is like that feared giant. You know, they're no longer Goliath. You know, they shrunk in this playoff, and I think that's a good thing for conferences like the Big 12, showing that they can play with these schools, and that top to bottom, maybe this SEC is getting way too much respect by the committee and things like that. And I think they'll look at it a lot closer now in the future.
You know, and football is what it is at this time of year. Who has the fewest injuries on the roster too?
Gosh,
that makes such a big difference. I mean,
the NFL's the same way.
Look at Texas. I mean, they've got those big linemen out, and
I agree.
And then Georgia had their quarterback out.
Yeah,
but that's the rub of the green in this game. And
well, it's like the NFL, the Detroit 100%. Lions. They're not even close to the same team they were mid-season simply because of injuries.
Yep.
I mean, it's a brutal sport.
Yep.
To play at that long and at that level and at that speed.
And look how many people sat out last week.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, Denver had a cakewalk of a win.
Thank you, Denver. Thank you.
Not that.
No, what that proved to me was
if you're Cincinnati, you should have won those games early. They're crying in their milk right now. They should have won those games early on in the season when they lost the 4 or 5.
The only thing about Kansas City is anybody who votes for the NFL MVP, look how bad Kansas City is. I know it wasn't just Mahomes out. It was other players. That's how good Mahomes is.
Yeah.
You are foolish not to put him in the MVP voting. He didn't make the Pro Bowl. Are you kidding me? Nobody does it better than Mahomes with what he has around him or inspires people. I love Josh Allen. I love these guys. Lamar, I love watching these guys play. But they're not Mahomes. Yeah. Mahomes is the man. And I think that Kansas City game, people aren't going to look at it like, oh, well, they had 10 guys out. No, they had Mahomes out.
Yep.
They had 98 yards of offense against my Broncos. 98. Are you kidding me?
But good for Sean Payton, too,
Yeah. You know what, though, Jimmy? I'm going to get real. I'm not a huge Sean Payton fan.
Yeah.
I think he's egotistical.
He is.
But I will say this. As a Bronco fan, who am I thrilled to be coaching against the Buffalo Bills? Sean Payton, because he's been there before. He knows how to handle these type of games, and he knows how to win these type of games.
Yeah, he's brought Bo Nix along well, too.
Oh, yeah. No, he's done a great job.
Good job with him.
Yeah.
That's hard to do.
Messi's number 10, but Bo Nix may be my new number 10. So. But anyway, speaking of the NFL, they announced this week the schedule. Jimmy, they're invading Friday night. They're stepping into the holy grail of Texas high school football, and they have a full schedule of Friday night games in the NFL.
Next year.
Are you for this?
I had not heard that. Yep. Absolutely not. I like the Thursday night game.
I do too. But I think 12 or 14 games, I don't want to.
We talked about it with the college games. There's Friday night is
just leave it alone, NFL. You're making enough money. We don't need you. So basically, Tuesday and Wednesday is the only day of the weeks when they're not playing.
Are those going to be on streaming services?
Probably. I didn't see the actual connection with who was running.
I had not seen that.
I'm sure they'll entice you with a network game to begin with,
sure.
but they'll move it on to the streamings. But
yeah,
I mean with Netflix and these guys proving themselves that they can actually, and Prime put on an NFL show, you know what I mean? Because really it's the same old announcers. It's just can you get it out to the people?
On the subject,
but I don't like it. I say no. NFL, back off and leave Friday night alone. Leave it to the Texas high school football players. Leave it to everybody in America to go enjoy a Friday night game when your favorite Dallas Cowboys aren't playing. And yeah, they're gonna grab some of your audience. It's just the Dallas Cowboys. My gosh.
Yeah. Who's your favorite announcer? Football.
Ooh, wow.
You're a big media dude here. Who
I'm a small media dude.
No,
yeah.
you're not. Who do you?
Yeah.
You have a Heisman vote. You're
I
big.
do have a Heisman vote, and I'm proud of that.
You're big time.
Wow, that's a really good one. I like Jim Nance. I'm partial to Jim Nance. I think him and Romo still do a really, really nice job. But I have to go Nance. Who's yours?
My wife can't stand the fact because they think this guy can't stand Oklahoma State. I think Kirk Herbstreit does a fantastic job.
He's polarizing, but
both on the NFL and college game.
I like that call. I think
he does a really good job.
Yeah.
I'll tell you the other thing, and you know me, I'm a people guy. Man, what he does for Corso.
Oh yeah.
He's got a true affinity for that gentleman, and
I admire that on game day every Saturday. Yeah.
You know the story behind
the
deal why he puts on the mascot?
I guess I don't.
Herbstreit's wife came up with that years ago. Ohio State had a ball game.
Yeah.
And they said
the Buckeye, yeah.
They said Corso's probably going to pick him to win. He said, "Do you think we could get our mascot to let him borrow the head? Because that's like a holy grail thing you don't touch." And,
yeah.
And they got him to do it, and that was the first one. That was the first mascot head that he put on was Ohio State's, because it was Kirk Herbstreit's wife's idea.
Wow.
Look at what that's done. Everybody waits till the end for Corso to put his thing on.
Yeah.
But that Herbstreit's
I do admire Herbstreit for that. I mean, that is really
He does a lot.
Yeah, I was thinking more NFL. College, wow, I'll come back with that on our next podcast. We will ask you. I want your top three, and I'll get a top three. I think the color commentary, man, Brady struggles, unfortunately. I don't know. He's getting much better, but he just doesn't have it. And who they replaced, I think, is probably the best in all of football. So I don't think that's fair at all. But I don't think Brady's cut out for that. Yeah. If he does become an owner, which I think he has already with the Raiders, you got to get him out of the job.
Get pulled back from that. Reese Davis, fantastic, and Chris does the stuff.
Fowler
does.
Chris Fowler's a Colorado Springs guy.
And he's good.
Played baseball against him at Palmer High School.
Wow.
Yeah, he would never remember me, but yeah.
He's good.
Colorado guy. He went to the University of Colorado, but yeah, Colorado Springs guy, man. But they're really good. There's a reason you get behind that booth and do that, So it's like you're talking 17, 18 games they've done, and the enthusiasm they bring to the table for those games this late in the season is still amazing to me. So I know they love that. Hey, a couple of things before we hop out. West Texas A&M Buffs. You attend a lot of those basketball games. Where are we at with that with those two teams?
Well,
first of all, let me just say on the record, if you met Josh Prock and Tom Brown just off the court, you have two classy individuals. You really do. They're different in their styles, but they're very, very kind people, and I don't mind them coaching at WT. Okay. Now, Coach Prock gets a little intense sometimes on the girls during the game, I think.
I think somebody's gotten his ear about that.
Okay. Has he mellowed out a little bit about that?
I've noticed it.
Yeah. I mean, you're there. You're right next to that bench.
Bob Lang and I sit together.
Yeah.
He asked me the other day.
Well,
I think somebody got in his ear. I'm just being honest.
No, I will say this. He analyzes himself each and every season. He's very hard on himself. What I did right, what I do wrong. I'm just being honest.
The optics of that.
And hey, he learned, I mean, he was at Oklahoma.
That was Sampson, yeah.
Yeah, so you know how intense that cat is.
Sure.
So, yeah. But now.
Go back. I'm gonna interrupt you here. I'm going to go back to we're in the Texas Panhandle, and it's all about how you treat people. And the optics of that intensity didn't look good. And I honestly believe, and I haven't asked Josh this, and Josh and I are friends. I haven't asked him this, But I really think somebody said, hey, this is something you need to be aware of. I don't know that. I haven't asked him. I haven't talked to him about it. But I've noticed a change, and if that's by design, he's done a great job with it. I'll hand it to him. He's done a great job with it. It's different.
Yeah,
and I'm right there. You know where I sit. I'm right there.
Yeah. And then Tom, of course, we both know him really well. And
Tom's just don't get on the officials. He doesn't ever get on his kids.
Yeah, I know.
If you watch him, he doesn't get on his boys.
No,
he does that through the other direction.
Yeah. I agree. And one thing about Tom, you can miss a shot as long as it was in the offense, and he's not pulling you. That's why those guys shoot so well when they're on their game. Now they had a rough go against Lubbock Christian this past Sunday.
Yeah.
Wow. We got
it handed to us.
Yeah.
And that's 3 in a row.
Yeah.
I don't know that Tom's ever lost 3 in a row.
Yeah, we'll have to look that up. But just tell people.
We're young.
Very young. Tell people why they should go down and watch WT, because it's a great product.
Well, that's the first thing I was going to say. If you like basketball, it doesn't matter who, especially now that we're in conference play, we got to have our game on every night. The Lone Star Conference is great basketball. Number 2, our kids play hard.
Yeah.
We don't have a single senior. We have 2 juniors, so we're young. But, man, these kids can play.
Yeah.
And the thing that's killed them the last 2 games is we haven't shot well.
Yeah, I know.
Our shooting percentage is horrible.
Yeah.
And that's they call it a slump. You call it whatever you want. We just haven't shot well.
Yeah.
But it's not from a lack of intensity. It's not a lack of motivation or anything like that. I get a kick because you know where I sit, right there on the end zone, and so the officials are always down there. And one night I asked one of the officials, I said, do you get paid extra to listen to Tom all game long? And he kind of laughed. And I said, does he teach you anything? And he had to run back off, and so there was another timeout. He came back down and he goes, he's taught me a lot about myself.
Yeah.
I said, yeah, I bet he has.
Yeah.
And then he came back down again. He goes, lots and lots about myself.
That's pretty funty. Yeah, Tom's not afraid to let the refs know what he's thinking.
No, he starts early.
Play, yeah.
Coop came and sat down with me the other night at the not the Lubbock game, but the game before, and it was kind of fun to sit. Yeah, it was kind of fun because right off the bat, Coop goes, "I'm a little nervous here. We were up." He goes, "Man," he goes, "these guys are good. They're physical. They're bigger than we are. They're more seasoned." I mean, here's a guy that he was the predecessor to Tom Brown, and
yeah.
So I'm listening to this coach next to me who's just been sworn in as our county commissioner, and he's analyzing this game, and boy, the longer it went, the more we were like, uh-oh, we're in trouble.
Yeah, that is always fun to sit next to a coach. You realize how little you really know.
Oh, I know nothing.
Yeah, exactly. You think you know something, you're going like, wow, what an observation was.
He has the utmost respect for Tom.
Yeah.
He said, I wish I would have coached more like Tom than the way I coached. I mean, it was really interesting. It was really interesting to hear Rick talk as we were doing that.
And Coop will tell you, I mean, flat out, to keep repeating what they're doing at the high level, at the Division II level, is not easy. Yeah. And he's so impressed.
Well, think about this. What 2 better coaches as WT could we ever have than Rick Cooper and Tom Brown? Back to back.
Yeah, I know.
And all these years of winning, I mean, we couldn't have it any better.
No, I agree. I think LCU has a fine coach themselves.
Todd Duncan's a friend of mine.
Yeah.
I've known him
his
for a
son
long time.
can flat out shoot it. And it was a lot of fun to watch. Started his career out at Texas Tech.
He's obviously got a green light because he shot one the other night from the circle.
Yeah, I know.
Golly.
But I mean, if it goes in, it goes in. It's the heat test.
He missed that one, and I saw Todd go.
Yeah.
But I have a lot of respect for Todd Duncan.
Hey, one other thing before we hop out of here, high school basketball is going on. I saw a great one last night. Paladuro was 21-1 versus Emerald High at 20-6. Both teams ranked in the top 25 in the state. We're talking the boys. Emerald High jumped out to a 29-9 lead like 12 minutes in, and it was over. They play such good defense under Pillion. But I will say this: I was covering the game for Press Pass Sports, so I was right next to Marcus Loftus, who wasn't feeling that well, with speaking. He took a steroid shot and it hadn't worked yet. He's a little ticked. He goes, "If I knew that, I wouldn't go. I hate shots." But anyway, his composure when they were getting beat down like that. Now, he gets in their face, but it was remarkable to me what was being said. Like, look, there's time. There is time.
Yeah.
I believe in you guys. We've been down 13 before. We've been down 15. Don't look at the scoreboard. Just go play some hoops.
Yeah.
And they got it within 10. I mean, it was Amarillo High's night. But I just want to say, and then you have Jason Pillion on the other side, and he may go crazy during a game, but those kids love him because he goes crazy like that during a practice. They know how much he loves basketball and loves him and has taught you to do this, so let's go out and do it. So
Yep.
I just want to compliment Amarillo ISD. Basketball coaches, man, there's some great coaches. The first game, Paladuro, A.J. Johnson's had better teams. They've had injuries and all that. Amarillo High, Jeff Williams won a couple of state titles. Amarillo High is supposed to smoke them, 30 points or so. This is a 3-point game at 26-23 because A.J. Johnson's on that other bench coaching his fanny off. So I want to give a shout-out to Texas high school coaches in general, but I will say AISD is lucky in the basketball realm. Wow.
Marquise, I've known him a while.
Yeah.
I'll tell you my first meeting with him. I'm not trying to embarrass him. This was a funny. Just remember back in the day when we had our street ball challenge downtown.
Yeah.
The big 3-on-3 event down there. 14 or 15 years old at the time. And he got in some trouble on the court, and I had to get him off the court and tell him he wasn't going to be able to play next game. Boy, he got hot, and he kind of chest bumped me. and that's when I just put my hands behind my back because I have to be real careful because optics are everything. And so I just put my hands behind my back, and I just let him go. He was screaming at me. I let him go. Another adult came up and kind of got in his chili a little bit. That's somebody that he knew pretty well. And then about 20 minutes later, he came over and he said, "Sir, can I visit with you?" And he said, I just want to apologize. And I said, "You don't have to apologize to me. It's the heat of the game. It's 100 degrees out here. I get it. You're not hurting my feelings. I don't take it personally." And from that moment on, every time I see him, I get the biggest hug, and we are the best of friends. I loved it when he was in Hereford because we have an office in Hereford.
Yeah.
And so I got to see him a lot over there, but I'm thrilled that he got back to go to his home squad.
Yeah, your alma mater.
But I have a lot of respect for Marquise. I've known him a long time.
Yeah, I love watching him coach.
He's a great kid.
Yeah, he is. And his team.
We need to get him on someday.
Yeah, we do. We will. And his team's a great team as well. But just want to remind you also, we will have in town twice in the next few weeks Aaliyah Chavez, the number 1 ranked girls basketball player in the United States, Lubbock, Monterey. Jill Rankin Schneider is her coach. Jimmy and I both know her really well. But they play Paladura and they play Amarillo High at home. Are you going to go watch her?
I would love to. I hate crowds. I hate having to fight for a seat. You know what I mean?
She is the one athlete, boy or girl, so it doesn't matter, but that I've seen where it's must see. Like she'll pack gyms.
I would go see. If I were going to go, I'd go to the Paladura game because I've already seen what an Amarillo High Monterey game looks like. That playoff game, it's insane.
Yeah.
There's not enough parking. There's not enough seats. There's not enough anything.
Yeah.
And that's no disrespect to Paladura. I'm just saying that rivalry is already established, and I would love to see her play.
Monterey,
so where's she going to go?
Oh man, she has her Final 5. I'm hoping Krista Gerlich gets her down at Tech. The number is like $2 million NIL and a house supposedly. Okay.
Tech spent 1.2 on a softball player.
Yeah, but that's because one of the Eagle boys, said, "Hey, here's 1.2 million. You're going to come pitch for us."
Yeah.
So if they decide to do that with, I don't know if they're involved in basketball yet, so we'll see. But no, I think Tech has the money. Why would you not go to South Carolina?
That's my question.
You know what I mean? You have a great coach. You have a great program. You're going to be in the Final Four.
Yep.
You're going to be on national TV constantly. So why wouldn't you go to Tech? If she goes to Tech and everybody's shaking their head like, how can any 18-year-old be worth $2 million? I will say this. Their attendance will immediately go up 5,000 fans a game. I'm just going to tell you right now. So do the math. in a year, that's pretty much she pays for that $2 million back. She is that popular. She's that fun to watch. Will her game transfer to the college game? I don't see why not. You know what I mean? She plays at that level. But I will say this: if you go online and see videos, her dad, has trained her early, and at first he said, "Hey, I wasn't sure she wanted to do this," and so I tested her. We did all these workouts. Like the first 2 months they worked out, they didn't touch a basketball when she was young, to see if she wanted to do this, and she did. I think they call it the lab down there. One thing I learned about Leah Chavez is this is really cool. There's 40 or 50 young kids that come out there and work out. She's right there doing the drills with them and everything. I think it's a great example of a West Texas girl getting in the spotlight through hard work.
I don't know the family. I don't know her. Don't know anybody involved. I think from what I've watched, and I've seen these videos and I've seen her stuff. I've seen Pete Christie do things with her in interviews and stuff. And can she adjust? And can the family adjust? Dad's not in charge anymore.
True.
I'm just being honest.
No, that's fair.
That's got to be part of the discussion.
But I will say this: I think Jill has done a good job with that.
Hands down.
I'm sure it's a different coaching technique, but she's done a good job. Now Leah gets to shoot pretty much whenever she wants. Pretty much. Did Caitlin Clark get to do that at Iowa?
Yeah.
Sure did.
Dang right.
So, and she's got that type of range and that type of shot. So, just suggesting if you want to see maybe a person who may excel at the college level and then to the WNBA, which is her goal, hop over to Paladura and Emerald High this month.
Yep.
And I think the Emerald High game may be the first week of Feb. I'm not sure. Monterey beat Emerald High on the road game down there, so it's a great rivalry going on. But, yeah, I thought we would bring that up. I'm proud of her. I'm just going to say. A West Texas girl getting it done.
Changing subjects. My understanding is they're meeting today. McCarthy survived. Is he gone?
McCarthy survives.
I think so, too.
I think Jerry, is a loyal person. He has a lot of faults by not giving up this GM job. I mean, everybody's talked about that endlessly, but yeah, he's surviving.
Dion going to the NFL?
No.
I don't think so either.
He's making too much money with Colorado. Eventually, maybe so. Yeah. And if it was Jerry Jones, Jimmy, I would say yeah.
Yeah.
I would say yeah.
A lot of coaches on the move in the NFL right now.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting.
It's a brutal job.
You're even seeing talks of trades.
Yeah.
Contract trades with a coach and a player.
How can you fire the New England coach after 1 year?
That's rough.
Huh?
And then I watched Kraft say that's all on me. Yeah, you think?
Well, there's no wide receivers. I mean, come on. You got to put talent out there. And if they can't coach with the talent, bottom line is, Jimmy Johnson was 1-15.
Sure.
In this day and age, he would have been fired.
Yep. Well, Gronk I don't know if you saw Gronk's interview on the set. He was pretty fired up about it. He wasn't happy.
Yeah, no.
He said it wasn't fair, and he pointed to Jimmy Johnson. He goes, "You went 1-15 your first year, and you won 2 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
Probably would have won more if they'd have left you alone."
It's a high-profile job. They make great money, but they're not allowed to develop players anymore. And so that's just – when you go into it, you just have to accept that. Like throwing these young quarterbacks in. I mean, Danny White, how long did he sit? 4 or 5 years before he actually started games or permanently?
Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, exactly. Behind Favre, yeah. So I think
Steve Young.
Steve Young, yeah. You can go on and on. Yeah. So,
all right.
I think we go ahead.
No, only thing I'm going to say is every week after the podcast, I get a text message from my friend Carlton Bogus.
Okay.
He never misses, and he analyzes it. And so I told him, I said, we're going to invite you on.
Okay.
So we're going to have our first follower.
I like it.
On the set with us. I told him to start gathering his topics.
Okay.
And gather up what he wants to talk about. And we're going to bring Carlton on. You'll love him.
Yeah.
He really wants to meet you.
Yeah.
And I'm going to make that happen.
I love that.
But you'll love this conversation with him. He is a great guy. And He and I go way, way back. So I'm going to bring
I
Carlton
like that
on. Yep.
idea. You know,
We're going
we
to bring
can
one of our
encourage-
staunchest followers on.
Yeah, we can encourage people to,
Yep.
to invite themselves onto the show, and I'm all for it. So,
Yep.
hey, as always, great stuff. Jimmy, thanks for the insight on everything Kids Inc., and we appreciate what you do, man.
Okay.
2025, man.
No, I appreciate you. I appreciate you doing this. Jerry Schaefer and I were talking about this morning, you know. He goes, what all does Lance do? And I said, he does our podcast. I don't care what else he does. So,
Yeah, no, it's a lot of fun. So, as always, thanks for watching and listening.
thanks to Maddie.
Yeah, thanks to Maddie. She does a great job. It's produced so well, and we get so many compliments out there in the public. I said, I got nothing to do with that. That's all Maddie. So we appreciate you very much. Hey, let's hop out of here. This was the Fieldhouse Podcast. It is a production of the Kids Inc. Sports Network, and we'll see you when we see you. Have a great day.